as a part of our design culture. And I think, for me, it's critically important that we do it not because we should. I want to get the guilt and the angst out of this equation and replace it with something else. And I think the reason to do it is because we can. The reason is that we would be embarrassed if we didn't. Can we imagine a world that is so much more beautiful? Yes, we can. So much more intelligent? Absolutely. That is the basic operating principle of design. So much more thrilling. For me, that this combination of intelligence and thrilling is the critical operating idea that we need to introduce to this discussion. So much more equitable. When we bring intelligence to these problems, we expand the capacity that we have and allow for equity. We can imagine a world that is not stupidly embarrassing. When I think about the things that we're doing now, it's embarrassing. And I think we should be embarrassed by it. I once read this beautiful discussion between Frank Gehry and Peter Eisenman. And Eisenman asked Frank, why do you do such difficult things? Why don't you just make your buildings easy so that people can build them? And it won't be a problem. It'll be so much easier for everybody. And Frank's response really touched me. He said, I couldn't stand to go home and tell my kids that I can't deal with my time, that I can't deal with the challenges of our time. And for me, this is for me the real kind of motivational idea inside of this. So, I don't want to live in a world without oil. I don't want that, actually, or Kareem. I don't want to see that. I want to live in a world with oil and so much more. So the question is, what is the new business model? And for me, it's this intersection. It's smart and sexy. This idea of art and science, of beauty and brains, this is the intersection where designers live. This is where we live. And in this context, we become critically important to the future. That design practice, design education, is critically important to survival. And it's important that it's not just sexy and that it's not just smart, because we have lots of examples of neither one of those being successful. That you can make incredibly sexy things and people will buy them, and they're awfully compelling. But if they're not fundamentally intelligent, we're only making matters worse. On the contrary, you can make incredibly smart things, but if you can't make them desirable, no one knows about them, no one wants them, they don't want to change their life to live that way. So for me, this idea is the intersection that we need to get to, that we need to practice every day. What it means is capturing more of the energy we use. Of all that energy that we expend, massive amounts of it are wasted. Massive amounts. If you could just eliminate the waste, we would have a radical impact on the environment. Smart and sexy is the new business model. It's actually about making smart things that are the coolest, most compelling. You just saw a presentation that was doing exactly that. In smart and sexy, outputs are inputs. One of the things that Dean Kamen showed us is that we have all kinds of outputs that are currently defined as waste. We're throwing them away. He's using them to make new things. He's saying, hey, this is a negative, this is a waste. Gunter Pauli is working with businesses all over the world to use their waste as new sources of revenue. He worked with a brewery, an urban brewery, that was trucking its waste out of the city to use that material to make baked goods and to grow mushrooms. Now the brewery is making more money on mushrooms than it is on beer. And it's an ecologically intelligent business. Smart and sexy is a diverse ecology of energy. The idea that we're somehow going to